Greg Peterson, Nate Klaus here as we wrap up the Adidas Satellite Camp Tour here at the University of South Florida today. And Nebraska had Coach Beckton and Coach Fisher were out here, and the coaching staff here put them to work here today, Nate.
Yeah, they really did put them to work today. There's close to 800 kids out here at South Florida today, and out of all the camps, this is the first one that any of the Nebraska coaches really were able to get out there and coach some drills, run kids through drills and kind of get their hands dirty a little bit. And they looked happy to kind of be able to be part of the action instead of just kind of a bystander watching. But all in all, just a terrific camp out here. Again, close to 800 people, ton of really impressive athletes.
Absolutely. And one of those athletes was a really, really good-looking wide receiver. What did you see from him today?
Yeah, Jaquavius Gillespie. Like you said, he's a kid. He's got great length, great athleticism, terrific hands. He just stood out. I mean, he just made plays over and over, and looked good in drills. And then, in the one-on-ones is where he really shined. And to be honest with you, there were probably more defensive backs that I was impressed with than wide receivers. But Gillespie was a kid that certainly caught my attention.
Yeah, and as you said, defensive back group was just stacked. I mean, everywhere you looked, there was a D1 kid running around. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was crazy. And you come to expect that when you come down to Florida to some of these camps. The skill talent is always going to be phenomenal. But today's defensive back group, I think, was really good. Just two of many that really caught my attention. One of which was Ben Knox out of DeLand and Joseph Narcisse out of Booker T. Washington in Miami. Both those kids I thought were kind of had prototypical size that I think a lot of colleges are looking for. Anywhere from 6 foot to 6'1", and they can run. They're physical, and again, they performed very, very well in the one-on-one portion of the camp today.
And we also got a little bit of Nebraska flavor down here in Tampa. We got to meet one of Tommy Frazier's best friends, Lorenzo Spikes, and he's a trainer out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and he had a bunch of kids down here, and we had fun. We had a lot of fun talking with him.
Yeah, catching it. Lorenzo played at Florida, lived in Lincoln, and lived in Nebraska for quite a while. Like you say, grew up with Tommy Frazier. They were kind of their best friends, and so kind of reminiscing about Runza and Valentino's and some spots that used to frequent in Omaha and Lincoln back in the day. And it was kind of neat to run into a complete stranger that knew an awful lot about the state of Nebraska, and obviously he still keeps up with the football program and what Scott Frost is doing, and he's aware of Jackson Hanna. He told me, talked to me about Jackson Hanna that just made his way to Lincoln and out of the Nashville area, and so it was really neat. You never know who you're going to run into at these types of deals, and he's one of those guys that we'll probably be keeping in touch with for quite a while now.
Absolutely, and like I mentioned earlier, this is our last stop on this Adidas Satellite Camp Tour, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole week. What impressed you throughout this whole week, Nate?
Yeah, I think it's kind of what we've come to expect with a lot of these deals. It's an awful lot of talent at each one of these spots. I mean, between Georgia and Florida, you'd be hard pressed to find more concentrated talent in these areas than what they've got. And what we've seen day in and day out at all these camps are that there are a lot of young, talented athletes that are hungry to come out here, and there's so many good ones that you can beat Nebraska and come down here and pluck kids out of here, really good players. And I think for Nebraska to come down here and have a presence in these areas at these camps, whether they get commits out of these camps right away or not, or a bunch of kids that they offered out of these camps right away or not, I think it's important for them to at least be down here and have a presence, and for kids to see the logo on their shirt and kind of become familiar with some of the faces of the program. And to me, that's one of the biggest takeaways that I've got.
So we're back to Lincoln tomorrow, and next up for us will be Nebraska Friday Night Lights Camp, and then the Pipeline Camp coming up after that. So stay tuned into Rivals.com and HuskerOnline. We'll have plenty more in this busy camp season. For Nate Klaus, I'm Greg Peterson signing off for Husker Online.